Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Mills. I'm the Executive Director of GNI Global Innovation Institute. I would like to welcome you here today with us. Today is July 16th, 2025, and this is our July 2025 webinar. As most of you know, Global Innovation Institute is the world's leading professional certification and business accreditation organization in the field of applied business innovation. We have people who are certified all over the world and businesses who are accredited around the world. We have authorized providers we work with around the world. And so we have a very global community. And I want to welcome all of you who are here with us today or who are watching the recording of this webinar. I want to welcome you to our community and thank you for being a part of that. We do these webinars monthly, each month to help continue to expand our knowledge and understanding of the world of innovation and innovation applied in business and all the different practices and methods and evolving strategies that are happening in the world of innovation. So again, thank you for being here. What I'd like to do now is to introduce to you our guest speaker today, tell you a little bit about him, and once I do that, I will turn it over to him to present his insights with us. So our guest today is Mr. Franck Debane. Franck is a leading authority on innovation with over 20 years of experience spanning Silicon Valley, London, and Paris. As managing partner of Forward Partners in Paris, he empowers private and public organizations to adopt entrepreneurial mindsets and accelerate innovation through data-driven methods. A true practitioner, Franck holds an MS in computer science and engineering with a focus on AI. He has led product teams at AOL and the BBC. He co-founded 3 startups, and he grew France's lean startup community to over 12,000 members. He is the author of Passé en Mode Startup and hosts the Aussi Dosi podcast on innovation and leadership. In 2024, Franck founded Audace.ai, an AI-powered platform designed to streamline the innovation process, helping teams refine ideas, build pitches, align stakeholders, and prioritize projects with unprecedented speed and clarity. Today, Franck is going to be talking to us about how to use AI in the innovation process. This is important to all of us because we all want and generally need new ways to improve, streamline, and in some cases speed up our discovery, learning, and pitching processes so as to accelerate our overall innovation outputs. And so with that, I will now turn it over to Franck. Join me, if you will, in welcoming Mr. Franck Debane. Franck, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anthony, for the warm introductions. I'm very happy to be here with you and to talk about artificial intelligence and innovation, focusing on the work that we've been doing for the past few years. Let me share my screen. A new presentation to share. But first, while I do this, I'm wondering if you could maybe in the chat tell me if you had a lot of experience with generative AI. Do you use it daily? Do you use it once in a while? Please let me know your thoughts on this. So I was talking about Forward Partners, just a short introductions about what we do. We're an innovation consulting firm, and what we do is that we help organization, government, and private company into their journey into the innovation process, from the strategy to the implementations. We've done a lot of projects to the training of the staff. What I want to talk to you about today is artificial intelligence, GenAI, the revolution for the past few years, and how this is impacting innovation as a process and a discipline. So I generated this image with a little bit of support from Van Gogh inspiration, but this is all made with artificial intelligence and mixing, the old style graphics with some modern design here. But I want to take you first to the typical job of the innovation director and what does this person have to do. And here I have this little persona, Alex Spark, who is going to help me do that. But basically, when somebody get the mandate to innovate or in an organization or the responsibility for innovation, they have four different jobs to do. One of the first job is to actually identify emerging trends and technology. Where is the market going and what should we integrate into our operating procedure and operations more generally. Uh, a tough job that is probably the hardest is to encourage a culture of innovation and transforming the mind so the employees are more innovative. And there's those two steps here, about finding new ideas to improve operations, looking for incremental improvements, or finding and evaluating new business ideas, right? And here we would see incremental innovation, and the other one we would see breakthrough innovation. And somewhere, depending on, as an innovation director, what your mandate is, you sit in between those four categories with different weights probably on those. And for point three and point four, there's very well-proven methodology that I'm sure you know that are very effective in solving those issues. And here, what I'm going to do to illustrate how AI help specifically in that innovation process, I'm going to take just a classical design thinking, double diamond approach. And what we'll do is that we'll look at each step of this process and see how AI is impacting and how AI can help you through the different steps. Just excuse me a second. So just as a quick reminder, the first step is really about the research that you do once you have a problem that you're trying to solve. The research, the background research that you do to be able to orient yourself around this problem and better understanding the underlying cause for that problem. And then in the phase where you will then choose an angle to solve this problem, and you will come with a problem definition, which is typically customer-centered. And then you will ideate and look for potential solutions, and then test and select the solutions, the best candidate that you will be able to implement. All right. So nothing new here. What is new is how AI is going to help through this entire process here. And we'll start with the first phase. But what I wanted to do, because I'm not just going to tell you what AI does, we're going to do it together. So it's going to be very practical. I want to use this case here, which is how might we provide access to clean drinking water in arid regions where seawater is abundant. Okay, typical design thinking topic that is relevant for many. And so we'll go through that process in the time that we have together to basically come up with a solution, look at the underlying cause, come up with a solution, test this solution, prototype it, and so on, all with artificial intelligence. So I'm going to take you into this journey now, and we'll look at the first phase of this design thinking process. So insight into the problem. Okay, so here what we've done is that we obviously this is the outcome of a lot of tests and iteration that we did, but we have on this phase insight into problems. The goal is to understand the problem, explore the context, observe users and their behavior, and have a comprehensive view of the problem and identify opportunities. And so if you consider now the artificial intelligence as let's say a very deep but also transversal encyclopedia that has a lot of knowledge, more than any human can consume and hold in their brain, then we're going to use that knowledge of the AI to basically help us doing this research. Okay, so what I have here is I have actually, I'm going to copy this now, and I have a prompt here that I'm just going to copy paste into your favorite AI. It doesn't have to be ChatGPT, but basically this prompt, I inserted here the question here and then asked to do the background research here. So it's going to give me some insights on this. Okay, so understanding the problem space, right? Scarcity, okay, and the part that I'm interested in. So I have no background or prior experience into solving this type of issue. However, I know the innovation process very well, and so this will guide me through solving that issue uh, with you. So here it's looking at the problem space, the context, the forces at play, gender, water roles, desert, women and children are primarily responsible for water collection. Okay, so I didn't know that. Looking at the stakeholder, I'm not going to go through everything, but it's going to tell me also some ethnographic insight, pain points, motivations, even a quote here. Doesn't have to carry water every day. She can say in school. Now, opportunities area. That's what I'm going to do to build this on. I'm doing this very quickly. Obviously, if I were going to do the full process, I will explore and assess this with my knowledge and understanding of the field. But here's providing me opportunities area. Okay, 5 insight-driven opportunities area. Decentralized community-led water solution, trust and transparency in water quality, culturally embedded design, low energy renewable power system. Okay, so now in this research phase, just with one prompt, I diverge and I get a lot more information than I had before. And obviously, I can keep on prompting the AI and look for more information. Okay. Typically, in the design thinking process, that's something that you have to do on the field, go there and trying to understand exactly what's happening. Obviously, if you do that, you will get way better insight. But here, I'm also getting already valuable insights with just one prompt. So I think I will tackle this part as for the rest of the demo. So if I go back into my slides, so this is the first prompt. Okay, so doing the background research very quickly. Anthony, I'm happy to share the slides as well, so people can have the prompts and use that in their process as well.
Yes, we can do that afterwards, certainly, yes.
Okay, great. Next, when I'm done with this research phase, I need to select a specific angle that I would like to tackle. Obviously, I have uncovered a lot of issues and insights, but I cannot solve them all. So I need to scope down the focus to something specific. And here, so typically is synthesizing and analyzing the data gathered, looking at the problem from a more specific angle and framing it and defining use criteria. Okay. Now the prompt for that is actually there's no prompt for that. What you have to remind yourself is that the AI is just helping you, but when you when you need to take decision, uh, you should really look at everything around that is not in the AI, the context, your specific context, the decision maker, what seems to be relevant, and so on. If you ask the AI to do that, you probably take a decision that you will not own. And so you have to kind of put your own brain to this. And I don't recommend using the AI to make decisions. The AI lies sometimes and give false information. So you have to always reprocess that. Okay, so let's move on to the next phase, looking at potential solutions and then testing them. So looking at potential solutions here comes the ideation phase, right? So you have identified the problem that you want to solve, but you have narrowed it down yourself with discussion, alignment with stakeholders, and now you just want to generate some ideas. So there's a very simple prompts here that we will do. You can change that number to anything here, but I'm sorry. I'm going to use that prompt now. But because of the outcome of my conversion phase where I decide which prompt to focus, I'm going to say, let's focus on point 4 and then come up with creative ideas. So this is a very basic ideation prompt. There's some that are more advanced that you can use as well to go a bit further and to get more novelty ideas. Okay, but let's see what he comes up with, and usually this is enough. So sun, steel, modular, solar desalination tiles. Oh wow, okay, what's that? No electricity require. So remember, insight 4 that I focused on is low energy renewable power systems. Renewable power systems. Okay. So you put it yourself. I like that. Okay. Aqua drone, inflatable solar greenhouse. Oh, that's interesting too as well. Okay. So here are some solutions, right? Obviously, I can ask for more, but this is already a very good help with just a full prompt following the process and going this far. So uh, I'm not going to run this prompt, but here is another way to get more bold ideas. When we move on to the next phase, um, is the next phase is about, okay, now I have 4 ideas or 5 ideas or whatever. I can have hundreds if I want. I think the value diminished after a while. But here now I need to basically find a solution that works, receive feedback, and iterate on that. Okay, so the prompts for that is find a solution that works. So select an idea, refine concept, turn it into intangible, and test how the user interact with the solution. That's what's happening in this phase here. I have different prompts that I will be using at different stage. One will be for prototyping, one will be for defining the customer profile. Although we had an hint in the research, I don't know if you spotted that, but to test the idea, you need to know exactly which problem it's solving for who, and that will help you that. Creating a landing page, which is an expression of the value proposition that you can test with customers. You can also ask the AI to interview customers so you can get some insights, summarizing the interviews, find the riskiest assumptions about your idea or new project, study the competition, and preparing your pitch to deliver this to management, to different stakeholders. Okay. Now AI, because it generates text and this type of content, will be very efficient at doing this. Also, the 90-day experiment plan, as in this is just an idea that lives inside some PowerPoints and your brain, but obviously you need to be able to test it to make sure that it works and validate it into the market. Okay, and then if time allows, I will show you a tool that integrates all those prompts into one single process. So let's start with the prototyping. So the idea is that once you have a concept that you are comfortable with, you want to show the concept to communicate it and gather feedback. You can do this before AI. You will do this with diagrams, and maybe you will draw something. But here you can use this prompt here, which will directly do a drawing of your idea, and it's tailored to highlight specific use case. So let's pick one idea here out of those, and maybe we'll take the first one. I like idea 1. Sun, steel, or maybe this one, aquadrome. I think the prototype will be more interesting. So let's pick idea 2, and then I'm going to paste the prompt here, and I'm going to ask basically the AI to draw it in its main use case. Okay, so it's going to take a bit of time. While this is happening, I want to show you what's happening next, basically. So the prompt is generating the prototype. Obviously, you will be able to change it as well once it's generated. Defining the ideal customer profile. Okay, remember, you are targeting a specific type of customers. As you know, especially in innovation, desirability and customer adoption is key for successful innovation. So here you have some prompts to actually tackle these issues and defining your ideal customer profiles. Here we'll test those 2 prompts after we're done with the image generation. So I have to have a bit of patience. I'm using ChatGPT, OpenAI, but I've tested this in a bunch of different AI and it works as well. This one is convenient because it allows you to generate image within your so this one is voluntarily a sketch because prototype are never fully finished and it's more the expression of the intention. So it's not it's not a perfect image. Although you can use the AI to refine this and do something very much more precise if you know exactly what you're building. Okay. So here's the idea. We get it, right? There's condensation happening, and then we get some water out of this. And so this is the concept that's put forward. Okay, so now let me go back here. Now it's going to describe me the ideal customer profile for this. Okay, so in these steps, we go back and say we identify who is the person. So rural desert community caretaker and occupations, needs, aspiration, improve family health, free up time, problem water scarcity, physically demanding collecting water, long distance, and so on, and fit with the idea here. Now, always keep in mind that those are just suggestions. That's never the truth, right? So we need to put some weight around what's being said. And then I can go even for the customer journey here. What's the customer journey of my user? So this is helping me in the research phase, but also in the prototyping phase, where now I have a lot of insights on what's happening to my potential user here, and how I can address that. Right, fatigue from past failure outside the solution. So because I try or some other solutions, emotional arc, and so on. Right, so there's a lot of details. My daughter is in school and so on. So I can really immerse myself now into this ideal customer. Okay, now moving on to the interviewing customer. All right, now I'm just going to explain you what's going on here because I don't think we'll have time to do this. But basically, I will extract all the information about this idea in the prompt directly. Okay, so I will do it now. Just this one to show you. But basically, I'm saying, okay, now based on all the elements that you provide, give me a summary of the idea. This way I can do this. And once I have that, I say now in a new prompt, right, without any past history, I say act as the ideal customer for this idea and answer my question, right? So and then I paste the idea in here, and then I will have a prompt that is actually behaving exactly like a customer, right? It's called sometimes synthetic user. So we have the ability now to engage into a conversation and interview this potential customer or user. Okay. And what I can do as well is I can say, oh, actually, I don't know exactly how to interview that customer. So now I'm saying, okay, I want to lead a discovery interview and ask questions one by one. And I give the context to the idea. And then you put those two AI together and they have a conversation about the problem and how one potential customer is living the problem and the other AI is drilling. And once you have that, you ask for a summary of this interview and you get the motivation, the pain points, and so on. And you can look at what you have. Now, you can use instead of prompt two, if you have a real customer that you can talk to, that's better. But you can still do preliminary work with a synthetic user, obviously. It does not replace and does not answer exactly like a real customer, but it will be pretty close. And then you can summarize those pain points. Then what you want to do, you want to identify uncertainty. And so there's a tool called developed by David Bland, which is called assumption mapping. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but basically this prompt will allow you to generate, evaluate your idea and look at all the uncertainty around this idea. Look at how how important are each assumption, and how much you know about, sorry, not you know, but the AI knows about each assumption. So we're going to run this prompt as well. And here, you will look at the result here. And basically, this is what will drive you your experiment plan, as in how you're going to test different aspects of your idea. Okay, so the Aquadome now is our project, the solar power inflatable greenhouse that passively dehydrated seawater into desert coastal area. Okay, so now it's looking at the desirability, the feasibility, and the viability. Okay, so I believe customer will trust that water produced is, they will trust the water. I believe women water collector will be willing to adapt and maintain that. So those are potential risks. At the very least, there are assumptions that are being made about the project. On the viability as well, government will support and fund the development, which is probably what was proposed. I believe there is sufficient willingness to pay. And then on the feasibility, I believe the product can consistently produce enough potable water for a family daily needs. Okay, so those are all the assumptions that have been identified, and now it's ranking them based on importance and evidence. How much evidence you have about each assumption. So the importance, which says the highest importance are, there's a lot of them actually. So I believe customer will trust the water, okay? And is there some feasibility? Okay, so this one, there's not a lot of evidence around this. And so now your job as the innovator, once you have done this groundwork, and is to actually test out an experiment on all these assumptions. You want to know if you are wrong or if this is correct. And the only way to do this is to go validate this on the field. Okay. Now, let's say you have done some experiments already, and you have a working prototype. Then you can say, oh, actually, we've done this with seawater here, and we look that we can produce 5 liters per day. And so now I don't need to test these assumptions because I already have a working prototype that does that. Or I believe families will value independence from water trucks. So now you have maybe experience on the ground, and you know that some families will actually value the independence from water trucks because they cannot stand the water that they're getting from the water truck. Okay, so this becomes your base for the experiment plan, and I'll go one step further here, and here you have the experiment plan, the prompt that will actually give you the 90-day experiment plan, as in, okay, now you have identified the problem, you have identified who is the customer, what are the customer needs, you have some feedback from synthetic customers or users, you have identified what are the assumptions. Now, how can you go and test this into the field directly? And again, here the AI can help you design those experiments, right? So customer trust and value test. Customer trust the water, so the assumptions are being tested. So conduct live on-site demo of Aquadome prototype with water collection to allow family to inspect, interact, and test the resulting water. And what do you measure? Number of participants who said they will drink from the Aquadome, percentage of reports trust after it works, and so on, and the acceptance criteria and the different type of experimentations that you can do. Okay, so it's helping you into this phase of testing, as in I want to de-risk my innovation and my idea. And here's going to do week by week, step by step, depending on how you manage your time. Right. So if I go back to this process here, now we've done most of this. There's a couple more things I want to show you. And it's your value proposition. So sorry, before that, we'll go into the competition as well. So you can just ask the AI to identify who are your competitors on this. Let's see what it comes up with. Now, it's not always required as part of the innovation process, but sometimes when you have to promote a solution, then it's good to know what is out there already and does exist. So it's really finding those that I had no idea, and so I'm using the AI as this, super brain transversal encyclopedia that has most of the world's published knowledge, and now I'm probing to see what those solutions are, and so on. Case of overlap, and those doing a competitive analysis basically. And now there is this. We'll go further and says, okay, now we want to run one of those experiments, and the experiments that we want to run is test the offering. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a script that is going to allow me to create a landing page. So I just copy and paste this prompt here, and it's going to generate a script. And that script, I'm going to put it in another tool that will be very specialized in creating that landing page. OpenAI and ChatGPT has its limit. They are hard to reach, but so there's some specific AI tools that are tailored for specific purpose, and we're going to ask to create basically the web page for this service that we can potentially test with customers or users, and this works in any context, obviously. Right, so it's preparing the landing page, and I'm going to use this site called Lovable, where you can just then copy and paste whatever is being produced here. But it's getting me writing the text. It's looking at the elements of the background research and so on. The fleet deploys in hours. It was easy to relocate. No motor, no filters, no wires to fix. So it's showing all the benefits and writing the specifications to build the website, basically. Social proof as well. Look at this. It's coastal Kenya, South Morocco. Those are desertic areas. So it made all those choices by itself. Huh? Obviously, there are fake codes, but it allows the user to imagine what customer will say. While this is happening, and then I will show you the how to do a presentation for your stakeholders after that.
Frank, while it's generating that, I had a quick question in this process that you were illustrating. How does the tool determine what is highest priority versus lowest priority assumptions? How is it judging that?
So in the prompt, there's criteria that define between high, medium, and low.
Yeah.
And so there's the importance and the level of evidence. And so we set criteria, and then the AI look at those criteria and classify the assumptions based on those criteria.
And
Um,
the amount of evidence is based on the learning models, the language learning models it has been trained on, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. On the knowledge that has been trained on. Absolutely, absolutely. So it's very possible that you have more evidence than the LLM, the AI. And so you can say, oh, actually, I know this part, and you can add documents to your idea, and those documents will be considered into the evaluation.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. So let's go for this one. I just copy this now, and I'm going to this other tool here. And we'll go up dashboard, and please create a landing page for, and I just paste everything here. Did I paste everything here? I think it's there. Okay. Generate a full specification. No, that's not it. I didn't copy it. Hold on. Up, I copied here. Okay. That was the prompt that I use. Okay. Aquadome up. And then at the bottom, I'll remove this little text here added by the AI. Up. And now we just have to wait a little bit. While we wait, I will show you the other element, which is the pitch deck. So the landing page now is being built. Obviously, we will be able to modify it if it's not to our taste. What's interesting is that in this prompt, it's considering everything as the landing page should be adapted to the ideal customer profile and all that. So everything is taken into consideration. And now we'll go into the last prompt for the demo here. Oops. And I'm going to paste it directly here. And this is to generate the PowerPoint presentation that you need, the pitch deck that you need to promote this idea to your sponsors, internally, to investors, and so on. So it's explaining everything. So the structure that you need is embedded, the problem, the solution, the value proposition, the market opportunity, the feasibility, and so on, looking at the ROI. And so this is, I think, a 7-slide deck that has been created. Now what you can do is you can take those points and copy paste this into PowerPoints and then adapt it as you see fit. But you know what? There's another AI. We can just take that and copy and paste it, and we'll create the deck for you. It's called Gamma, and maybe we'll have a quick look at this. So it's providing me with some market data opportunity, which I didn't request before, but it's looking for them in this prompt. Therefore, real desert conditions, feasibility. Okay, obviously it doesn't have all the information because we're very light. We didn't provide much, but those are some of the ideas and the promise that are here. And all this can be changed, obviously, through the process as you feed more data into the AI. Let's look at what happened here. It's still processing here. Okay, and then we'll go into Gamma app, which is a place where you can just copy paste your presentation. I'll create a new presentation, paste the text here. Okay, and I'm going to do a presentation. And once this is done, it's done. So I'll copy it, paste it here. Again, I'm going to remove this top and the bottom. Okay. Generates from note. I'm another line. What do you want to do with content? Present the exact text. Okay. Prompt editor. So it's sending me this. Okay, I can review the content if I need to. Okay, I'm happy with whatever is being proposed here. And how do I move forward with this one? I'll take a right icon size up. I should be able to generate. Where's the button? Generate button. Is it? Oh, hold on. This is being hidden here. Okay. And I can choose a design that fits my proposal here. So maybe something greenish like this. Or there's water here, so let's add water a bit on this one. Okay, then I just generate. And then we'll look at how it looks like. Oops, what did I pick? Okay, maybe it's gonna pick the green option, maybe. So it's generating the slide and the landing page is being generated as well. Okay. Right. So now we've done most of the work. Actually, we didn't do any work at all. But here we have here the solar powered. Here you go. There's even a prototype here. Huh. They understand the concept here so exactly. But here, let's understand the concept here. For the structure, means if the problem, the value proposition, the benefits, how it works, the opportunity, the feasibility part, scalable, and so on. and the implementation plan, right? So that's how AI is really transforming the work of the innovator, as in going from a problem to a solution, the prototype and the pitch deck. In a lot of the project that we do, we basically use that. And now it's become more efficiency. As we go back in here, here you go. Clean water powered by sunlight. Here, create his own photo as well here. And so the benefits, request a pilot kit and so on, rivers up, just dry. So here's your landing page now. There you go. It's explained here now how it works with the photos and so on. So obviously you can change it, update it as you see fit. Now, what we've done is that because all the prompts and copy and paste it could be a bit intimidating if you don't know exactly what you are doing. So what we've done is that we put this into one platform where basically you will start with a chat and put an idea, and the AI will help you through the different steps and generate all the stuff that you've seen through this interface directly. This is good also if you're managing a team of employees and they all have their ideas, then they're autonomous into exploring their idea, looking at the next steps and so on. That being said, I'll stop sharing and maybe we can take some of the questions or comments from the participants.
All right, so yeah, there's some good questions, and let me just add myself to the spotlight so they can see me. And yeah, a lot of good questions. First of all, thank you, Frank. That's excellent demonstration of the process that one would go through. And you touched on the Audace platform very quickly at the end. It seems like it's sort of a meta tool that holds our hand and walks us through the process and leads us through it. Is that correct? Okay.
Sorry, say that again?
It's the All Days platform is still like a meta tool that
Yeah.
will hold our hand and walk us through that process you went through and
Yeah,
help us work through
absolutely.
it. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think you know that the innovation process has a lot of different use cases in organizations or breakthrough ideas or incremental improvements. And
Yeah.
so and even like following a specific ideas or comparing ideas. So what we've done is that we've done it in such a way that employees can just take the tool, start running their idea with the help of the AI, and then there's the AI also do the evaluation of the idea and can rank the ideas, and then help the coordinator see which idea comes on top and so on.
Yeah, I think that's important because there's so many different AI tools, and like you were using largely ChatGPT, but then you were using different platforms for generating a web page or landing page, and you're generating a different platform for doing a PowerPoint. So understanding, how to piece these together and what tools to use in the process, that's very helpful to have a guide, tool to help us work through that. So let's turn to some of the questions that our audience has. And by the way, for those in the audience, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A. Put your questions there, and we'll try to address them. And I'll look at those first, and there's a couple in the chat we'll look at. But to start with, Yuzuri Okasha has asked two questions in one. What about economic impacts and money resource constraints to apply any new innovation idea? So Frank, can the tool, if I say, okay, what's it going to cost me to develop and then deploy and operate this? Can it give me an estimate of the cost there? And then in the same token, if I say, what's the economic impact to the people, communities who adopt it, is it able to give me economic estimates of that?
I mean, of using AI into the innovation process, or as in the idea, the idea that was developed?
So are you saying that it is not able to give you the cost estimates or economic impact estimates?
No, no, of the idea that was developed. Yeah, yeah, it can
Yeah.
absolutely. It can.
Okay.
Now, it does not have a lot of data because we've been very fuzzy on how this is going to operate and how much we're going to charge and so on. And so we work on assumptions. And out of with no specifications, it comes with the okay results. But then you need to really tell the AI, oh, this is actually this is how much we're going to charge,
Yeah,
and
that makes sense. Well, first of all, it makes sense that there's really not enough detail in the solution description at this point to do an accurate, cost estimate. So we'd have to like go into the tool and say, here's exactly how we're going to build this. Here's the parts, the pieces, whatever, maybe a bill of materials, and then here's how it's going to work and how much electricity likely use. I think with that level of detail, it could probably generate a cost estimate. And then, yeah, to your other point, what is once we know what it's going to cost us to operate it, if we say, okay, how can we generate revenue from this? How much revenue? It can give us an economic impact assessment, but we have to feed a lot more detail into it.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And so in the tool, we go way further because we look at each aspect: desirability, feasibility, viability, and we have specific tools. On the feasibility, there is a breakdown of the technical solutions. We'll highlight each component and how each component can work. On the viability, we look at the revenue model. How much does it, how many customers does it take to reach a certain level of revenue? What's the total addressable market, and so on. All of
Mhm.
those prompts are built in as well into the
Okay,
platform.
yeah, because that's important because when we look at scaling this and thinking about is it going to have traction in the marketplace, you know, we want to know, yeah, what we're obviously how many customers have to adopt this to make it viable, right, as a business, and
Exactly.
how much to generate the revenue we need to be profitable, et cetera. So yeah, with the right details, then that's nice that the tool can help you work through that process and get a sense for the viability of it and the scalability of it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
John Bender's asked the question, can it provide correct references for all the data it provides?
Yes, absolutely. It can. And sometimes you want to do that, and you can double check because the AI will review the answer if it gets challenged. So yeah, if something it looks a bit fishy or you're not too sure, you say, please give me the reference for that, and the AI will give you the reference, or it will say, oops, sorry, I made this up. So it's always good to double check. AI do lie; they have hallucinations. It's less and less the case now. It depends which AI you use, but yeah, it's a probabilistic engine, and so it behaves that way. So, but you can go for the reference, and once you get the reference, you will need to go and look at the reference and check the reference again because sometimes it's a fake reference as well.
I was gonna say it's been known to even fabricate references and create references that don't really exist. So
Yeah,
that has led into some problems at times, like fabricating data or even fabricating references. So yeah, I think if you really want to do your homework and sharpen the pencil on this, you have to go find out the references and then go validate those yourself. It's just the level of trust we are with the tools. I think in 5 or 10 years we'll be past that, right? Maybe, hopefully, where we can trust it better. We don't have to validate it as much. But where we are right now, I think there's still a good bit of human validation we have to do. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And different AI behave differently as well, and so some of them are known to have more hallucination than others, and so
yeah.
depends on which tool you play with.
Going back to some of the earlier prompts in ChatGPT, it offered the opportunity to do a customer journey map, I think. And so Brian Manmore was asking, what does customer journey mean in this case? And let me comment on that, and then you can if you want. I think it's just the standard structure of a customer journey, like awareness, interest, purchase, use. There's like it's like the customer life cycle. Right? Is that your understanding? So have you used that part yet? Have you used the customer journey element?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, all the time. I think in this context, it means compared to alternative solution when the customer is facing a problem, and what is it that they're doing today without the tool or the solutions that you're proposing. And so it identified in this context the different pain points and say where you can provide value, basically. That's what was the outcome of this prompt. But
Yeah.
you could change that prompt and request a customer journey of the person using the tool or the solution as well. And that will work just as well and will tell you what's happening and how the customer is using this at different stage of their journey, how they find out about the solution and so on, how they use it, what they think about it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rasim Abdullayev has asked the question, what must team members do when they're using this technique? What do they need to do? And I think what they're getting at is like kind of like what does that look like inside of an organization with people using these tools? Are the leaders going to accept that? Is that going to work with the organization? And in other words, the big picture, what is the how does this fit into the organizational process and environment? Do
Yeah.
you have experience working with organizations that have started really doing this? And talk to us about what that looks like.
Yeah. So what you have to remember is that the result is as important as the process. And when you a team work on a project together and communicates around the project, there is the conversation happening on the project, which is not necessarily the outcome that the AI will give, but is the process of coming to the outcome that is as important and maybe more important than the outcome, right? So if you have the solution to your problem right away here, you're not going to value it because you didn't put any effort into it, right? But as with the team, you work towards that. So you use the AI as almost a team member, a partner that is going to help you and guide you make some decisions. You don't want to press a button and say, please, AI, solve the problem. Here's the solution. Because you didn't put any effort into this, and so you're not likely to engage in that solution. It was free almost for you, and so it has very little cost. Now, if you look at each of the steps, you use the AI to help you each of the steps to give you a different perspective to forge your understanding of what's going on, and eventually use that towards the end, the AI towards the end of the process to create those artifacts that you need and so on. Then there's no shame because everything that is written you own and you have it in your brain as well. And so you're able to defend it in that context. So that would be the way to do this. If I go to the use case of let's say the idea box, when and everybody can use this AI to put an idea and have this idea evaluated, everybody has idea and they're just happy to just write a couple lines and then boom, it's done. No, it's not done. What most important than the idea is how much effort people spend into moving this idea forward. And in investment in early stage startups, and it's valid in innovation as well, it's better to have a bad idea with a good team than a good team with a bad idea. Or the other way around. Sorry, but you want the good team and the bad idea. You don't want the good idea. So the idea in itself, as even if has been battle tested within the AI environment, has little value. Although the idea that comes from the AI have more chances of succeeding than the one that were not tested in any way.
Yeah, and certainly, I mean, like as you point out, a good team will sort through the issues and refine the idea until it is a good idea. But I mean, it sounds like to me what you're saying too is that it these tools are best when they're used in a team context, not a person working in isolation. But maybe the team is working on using these tools together as a team, and that way, there's ownership of the whole process, there's ownership of the outcome, and there's a little more credibility, at least within the team, in the process. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
at the end,
So,
these conversations are happening.
yeah.
Is in the AI, stay in the AI in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So
And
Brian, oh, go
another
ahead.
limitation to this is that at the end, you still need to have real user engaging with your solution, and so that's not happening in the AI as well. That's happening in the real world.
Yes. So Brian Matamore also want to know, do Gamma, Lovable, and Audace require subscriptions to use? I assume the answer is yes. You want to elaborate on that?
So they have Gamma and Lovable have a free options where they can let you use for a limited number of token their app, so you can test it out fully. Odace, we have also a 3 months free service for those who want to test it as well to evaluate if it's good for them or not. But yeah, they have a freemium model like most AI do today.
Yeah. Okay. And I assume, yeah, we could do a search for each one of these and find these tools online.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Brian also commented it might be interesting to assign different titles to AI as team members, like Chief Financial Officer, R&D Director, Customer Insight. So it becomes like one of the team members. It has its own title. So that might be interesting. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things that we built into the Odace platform is is the ability basically when you before you go present your idea, you can have the feedback from the CFO, from the COO, from the director of product or different persona that are agents. They will look at the ideas like, oh, okay, hold on, but what they will do is they will take the context of the company as well, because here we've done it outside of a company, but innovation doesn't happen outside of the company; it happens within the constraints of the company. And so the AI, the Odace AI, will be able to understand the capabilities and the limitations and the constraints of the company and factor that in as well, right? So
That's
it's
excellent, actually. Yeah,
yeah,
if you can build a profile of the organization there in the tool, and then
yeah,
tell it, take the point of view of my chief financial officer, and
mhm,
critique this idea from a CFO's perspective.
yeah,
That can actually help you prepare well for stakeholder presentations and conversations, because you can learn beforehand what some of their objections might be, what some of their concerns might be, and you could test it from different, what's the head of R&D's perception of this, and maybe concerns and objections, and so you can think through all of those things before you actually sit down with the real person, and you're
exactly.
prepared for the conversations much better. So I think it's almost like a coaching tool in that sense. It helps you prepare for those conversations.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Anthony. You completely understood it. Yeah, that's where we build this into the
Yeah,
tool.
yeah. And so Adele Almodi asked the question, as using AI makes the whole cycle move quickly, how do we enrich the solution to be most practical per the situation amongst the few proposed solutions? So, in other words, we got a lot of different ideas that are proposed solutions. How do we figure out which one's going to be most practical and tease that out of the process?
Yeah, so when you're exploring for one problem many ideas, we have a prompt that's built into the platform as well that evaluates the idea based on the different criteria. The default criteria are the feasibility, desirability, viability, and we look at how likely this idea is to succeed on those aspects. And so you can compare those ideas like this, but also you look at the potential as in, is this a small idea, incremental improvement, or is this a bigger idea? And you put buckets around that, and you have basically the dashboard that compares all the ideas and allows you to make decisions on this aspect.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
So
built
the
into
uh,
the
the Audace platform, does it have its own language learning model it's based on, or is it built atop the other ones like ChatGPT? How's that
It's,
work?
it's, it's built on different LLM, and it's aggregating and it's taking all basically the innovation process, looking at the data that has been input and the data, the constraint from the company, and using those prompts specifically tailored to make the progress into the innovation process from idea to basically a project.
Okay.
Um, so uh, yeah, no, it doesn't have its own AI, but it's recording everything that's being discuss with the AI, extracting some learnings, and feeding that into the proper AIs.
Because
Uh,
somewhere
the-
in the process, does an organization have the ability to upload its own language model with its own industry specific data?
yeah, so the think of it as the aggregation of agents, and so you can even plug into the own AI of a company, right? So a lot of company deploy with Azure and some open AI variation, Copilot they call it, from Microsoft, and so you can plug directly into this and get query this
Okay.
directly
So if
into,
there's some industry specific information that you want to integrate into the process, there's a avenue for doing that. Okay.
exactly. Typically, when you want to question the CFO, that's where you will go.
Okay. And one last question from the audience, and then we'll try to wrap it up because we're at the top of the hour. What differentiates? This is from Folashade Oasini, sorry. What differentiates this tool from other AI tools? What does this tool do best? Speaking of all days.
Well, I think that if you from a very uh, a practical perspective, you can do everything into the different AIs. What it does is that within the interface, it puts the innovation process, and it goes directly to get the right answers from the right AI. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to be an expert in prompting. You don't have to be an expert in the innovation process. Now, if you are an expert in both, then you can, you can go do without it. But if you want the benefit of the AI into your innovation, it's here to help.
Well, I think even if you are expert in both, it still streamlines the process and makes it a little bit easier and faster, I think, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, and so yeah, we're kind of at the top of the hour. You know, I will comment there from Brian Matamore. It might be interesting to record and develop transcripts of all internal business pitches, everyone identified in the meeting, and then use their histories of the kinds of questions they ask to help the AI adopt the role of different company execs. In other words, use your company's actual execs' questions and feedback to keep training the model. Yeah, that's a good idea, and should be done probably if you can. So, you know, a lot of great comments here from the audience, you know, impressive presentation, excellent presentation, very much appreciated. Frank, do you have any final last closing comments you'd like to share with us as we wrap it up?
No, thank you very much. Please, yeah, if you use the AI, just remember it's not always right, but I encourage you to play around with it and bring benefit not just the innovation process, but in a lot of areas.
Yes, very much so. All right. So with that, we'll wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for attending this webinar and or watching the recording. We'll follow up with a notification of the recording once it's placed online. And thank you very much, Frank, for your participation and your insight and guidance. Very helpful. And for everyone, I wish you a very prosperous rest of your day. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everyone.